everybody, this is Major League Hats here, and I'm coming live to you from AT&T Ballpark, the home of the San Francisco Giants. Going to be taking you on a tour of the whole outside of the ballpark, and then we're going to go on the inside on the stadium tour, and then in the evening I'm going to show you around the inside and what they have to offer and all the cool features. In my other videos, I always tell people that AT&T is one of my favorite ballparks, and I'm not saying that just because it's the home ballpark of where I live, but I say that for many reasons. When I'm going around looking at the stadiums, the things I look for is there any historical value outside the stadium? Are there a lot of cool features on the inside of the stadium that would attract you to want to come to the stadium just to see the characteristics of the ballpark? And I have to tell you, the inside of this ballpark is fantastic. You can literally walk around the whole ballpark and unfortunately get distracted and kind of miss the game. But at the end of the day, you're like, I'm glad I did that at least one time. As well, they have a lot of great food in there that you can get, and it's just fantastic. They have a whole kids area. They have this huge 80-foot Coca-Cola bottle that has slides on it that you can go on. Well, as long as you're a kid 14 and under. A couple years ago, an adult got hurt, so they don't allow adults on it. I've been on it one time, and it was cool. But like I said, an adult got hurt, so they only allow kids now. They also have a replica 1920 mitt in the outfield. So we're going to start with the statues that you see right behind me is the Willie McCovey statue. There are 6 of these statues located around the ballpark. We have Gaylord Perry, Juan Marichal, Orlando Cepeda, Willie Mays in the front of the stadium, and then a seal that represents the seal. And then we're going to walk around the San Francisco Giants Wall of Fame, and I'm going to show you some of those plaques as well. I'll show you the inside of the ballpark when the game gets closer to going on. The game's tonight at 7 o'clock, so I'll be able to probably get in about 5:15, somewhere around there. Right behind me, the body of water here is known as the Cove. Take a closer look at it. Usually on game days, you'll actually see kayakers in the water, and basically they're waiting for home run balls known as splash hits. The Giants currently have 78 splash hits. That's the all-time number. Barry Bonds has the most splash hits with 35, and then visiting players have hit a total of about 42 or so. So it's very hard. Usually it's the left-handed batters that can hit them out. No right-handed batter has ever hit an opposite field home run into the Cove. So let's take a further look at AT&T Ballpark, and then I'm going to show you the great scenery from the Willie McCovey Cove, as it's been referred to. That's not the official name, but a newspaper reporter dubbed it that in his column one day, and so it's affectionately stayed the Willie McCovey, known as the Cove. So I'm going to probably be breaking this video up into a couple parts. The first video is going to consist of the outside of the stadium. I'm going to go around, show you what I like about the stadium. The second video is going to consist of the inner workings of the stadium. I'm going on a ballpark tour in a couple hours, and then the third video is going to show you everything inside when I'm able to get inside here at about 5:30, and then I can show you everything around the ballpark. So I hope you like this video, and remember, if you haven't seen any of my videos, go back and watch them, and then don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I hope you're excited to take this tour with me. Let's get started and take a look at all the cool statues and all the cool features that AT&T Ballpark has to offer. Let's take a closer look at the Willie McCovey statue that's located across the basin known as the Cove. This statue was erected in March of 2000 along with the Willie Mays statue that sits in front of the stadium. This is one of 6 statues that the Giants pay homage to Hall of Famers, with the exception of one of the statues is a statue of a seal juggling a ball on its nose, and we'll go take a look at that. But that one's to represent the minor league team that was here before the Giants got here, and that team was the San Francisco Seals. I'll tell you more information about that statue when we get closer to it. So I apologize already in advance about the shakiness and maybe trying to hear me or you can't hear me. There's a lot of wind, of course, with this being the Bay Area, and then of course, being next to the bay. So this is the Cove, as it's referred to. It's not the official name per se. A newspaper or reporter referred to it as the Cove in an article that he was writing when this ballpark first opened, and so they affectionately started calling it the Cove. On game day, you will see a bunch of kayakers out here trying to fight for what is known for home run balls, also known as splash hits. The Giants have 78 splash hits, with Barry Bonds having the most splash hits, being a lefty with 35. Opposing players, they don't keep track on their Levi counting board in the inside, and I'll show you that in a little bit. They've had 42 opposing players hit splash hit home runs. But look at this awesome view for a ballpark. Now, I mentioned earlier that I always tell people that AT&T is one of my favorite ballparks, and not because, you know, it's my home team, but because of all the great views that it has to offer, the great things on the outside. So here's another point of view of the Cove. This is a great view. Right there on the corner, if I could show you, that's where a camera guy sits, and he's perpendicular to the home run pool right there. So when a lefty does hit potentially a home run, they can have a great vantage point of the ball going into the Cove. Now, I say lefty because they've never actually had a right-handed batter hit an opposite field home run that landed in the Cove. So it's basically nearly impossible. I'm not saying that a righty can't do it. I'm just saying that it's never been done. Remember how we were at the Willie McCovey statue, and this is the Cove right here. We're on the opposite side, looking up at the stadium. They have a lot of doctor offices, occupational health therapy type places. This is where you can get into the Alaska Loft, and then we're going to be coming up to the Gotham Club, and I'm going to give you some more information about it. This part right here, the only cool part about over here is that the Giants pay homage to the great milestones that are done by Giants players. So this is where you would find like really cool looking plaques. So I don't know if you really call it a plaque, but this was to honor when the Giants opened this ballpark on April 11, 2000. It was known originally as Pacific Bell Park, shortened to Pac Bell Park, you know, after the phone company, and then it became SBC Communications, and then AT&T bought them out, and that's how it got its name to be AT&T. So then right next to it, you have a Tim Lincecum plaque when he struck out 14 batters in one game on October 7th, 2010. Right over here, it represents the World Series that the Giants won in 2010. This one is to celebrate Matt Cain's perfect game on June 13th, 2012 against the Houston Astros. This was the 22nd perfect game in Major League history. This was the first in 129 years of the Giants franchise. So this was a big deal that when Matt Cain threw this perfect game on June 13, 2012. This one right here represents when the Giants were the National League West Division champions in 2000. I hope you can see these. It's kind of bright outside, so the reflection's kind of bad. But this one's representing the 2012 National League Championship when the Giants won Game 7 against the Cardinals on October 22nd, 2012. This one is, this emblem is representing Barry Bonds' 500th home run that he hit in the 8th inning on April 17, 2001, and that home run ball landed in the Cove. This is a big one. I remember this game. This is the game where Pablo hit 3 home runs in the World Series against Justin Verlander. This was Game 1 against the Tigers on October 24, 2012. That was cool. That's basically what got Pablo the big contract in Boston, was those 3 home runs and the performance that he had in that World Series. This is to represent the victory of the 2012 World Series. Like them, love them, loathe them. This one represents Barry Bonds becoming the all-time single-season home run champion. There's a lot of controversy around that, but some people still look at Barry Bonds as a home run leader, and some people will say he cheated, but we're not going to get into that. But as it stands in the record books, this represents Barry Bonds being the all-time home run leader. This plaque right here represents the second career no-hitter for Tim Lincecum on June 25th, 2014 against the San Diego Padres. This one right here is the 2014 National League Championship that the Giants won on October 16th, 2014 on that historical home run hit by Travis Ishikawa. Here's another Barry Bonds honor
This is for his 600th career home run that he hit on August 9, 2002. So you see him obviously a lot around here. They don't have a statue because generally they only put statues up of people that are in the Hall of Fame. So we'll see if that happens, just if they do it one day. But currently he doesn't have a statue, but he does have a lot of honors around the ballpark. This one represents the victory of the 2014 World Series, where the San Francisco Giants beat the Kansas City Royals. So in 2010, the Giants beat the Texas Rangers. In 2012, they beat Detroit Tigers. In 2014, they beat the Kansas City Royals. This is their National League Championship representation from 2002. This is the year that they lost to the Anaheim Angels in the World Series. This one represents the 2003 Division Champions. And then on September 17, 2014, Barry Bonds hit his 700th home run. So he was just a couple away from Hank Aaron and breaking that record. This one pays honor to Rob Nant's 300th career save on August 6, 2002. This one right here represents Barry Bonds' 715th home run on May 25th, 2006 against the Rockies. This is to honor Jason Schmidt when he had 16 strikeouts in one game against the Florida Marlins on June 6, 2006. This one honors the 2007 All-Star game that was held here at AT&T Ballpark on July 10, 2007. That is the day that Ichiro hit an inside park home run. I believe that was the only inside the park home run hit in an All-Star game. And this is the big one. This is to honor Barry Bonds breaking the all-time record of 755 home runs. This is when he hit 756 home runs on August 7, 2007 here at AT&T Ballpark. If I remember right, it was against the Washington Nationals. This one's to honor Jonathan Sanchez when he threw a no-hitter on July 10, 2009. The cool part about that no-hitter is that Jonathan Sanchez's dad was in the audience, and that was like the first time that he has seen his son pitch in the major leagues. So it's a real special day that day with Sanchez throwing the no-hitter and then his dad in attendance. And lastly, this one honors Brian Wilson and Rod Beck. They tied with 48 saves in one season. Brian Wilson had his 48th save on October 3rd, 2010, and Rod Beck did it on October 2nd, 1993. So that's the Giants franchise record for saves in one season. So this is the back of the ballpark. You could take the ferry here and they'll drop you off right here so that you can come around here and walk right up there to the gates. Now the thing about the ferry is that it only comes about maybe a half hour to an hour before game time, and then it leaves about a half hour right after the last out. So if you're like me that wants to stay after the game and try to get autographs, it's very hard to take the ferry in because you got to basically get in and get out when you're riding the ferry. But it's really convenient because you can catch the ferry in Larkspur. That's where I catch it at, or that's where I would catch it at, and it will drop you off right there so you don't have to deal with traffic getting in and out of the city. Here's the seal that I was telling you about that represents the San Francisco seal, the minor league team that used to play in San Francisco before the arrival of the San Francisco Giants in 1958. So right now we're just in the back of the stadium. We're going to go this direction. That's where the employee parking lot is and where the players come in. You can stand over on the other side, I'll show you in a minute, and you can potentially wait out there, try to get autographs. It's kind of hard. I've stood out there maybe like once or twice because the players basically, they drive in, and if they really want to, they would have to like walk all the way to where you're at, which is about 20 feet. And a lot of times they won't do that. So you can do it, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's a valuable use of time, but that's just me. So let's go take a look. So this is the area where you could come and wait for trying to meet players. They would drive race, basically right in there, and that's valet. So you basically stand off to the side like that gentleman is, and you have to hope that the players come over and take the time to sign autographs for you. Every once in a while you might have a chance with Hunter Pence. He's been known to drive a moped in, but like I said, I don't know if it's really beneficial. So we're standing in front of the Orlando Cepeda statue. This one was presented to Orlando on September 6, 2008. This thing's awesome, look at it. Get a closer look for you to see here. It's just nice. And then right next to Orlando is Gaylord Perry. Check out Gaylord. Look at that. Gaylord Perry debuted on August 13th, 2016. Now, all these statues were sculpted by Williams Behrens of North Carolina. So they were all done by one artist. He did a great job getting the likeness of all the players done. So I hope they add some more, of course. Obviously, you'll see a Buster Posey. You might even see Brandon Crawford or Joe Panic, and then Bumgarner. If you're a Giants fan, you are watching some of the greatest Giants players of all time playing in today's game. So the cool part about the Giants is they honor the former players that have played for the Giants. Now, I'm not going to show you all, but this is known as the Giants Wall of Fame. This was introduced in 2008. It currently has 49 members in the Giants Wall of Fame. There are two ways that you can get on the Giants Wall of Fame. You either have to play for the San Francisco Giants for 9 seasons, or you have to play for 5 years and make an All-Star as a Giant. So those are the two criteria to be considered a Hall of Famer on the wall. The last inductee into the Giants Wall of Fame was Barry Bonds, and I'll show you that one here in just a second. I'm just going to kind of go down really quick. As you can see, on the left bottom is Felipe Alou. Right on the top right is Orlando Cepeda. And the cool part about the Giants Wall of Fame, it goes all the way down. Right here is two of the bigger ones. Of course, you got Gaylord Perry and Willie Mays, and Juan Marichal. Right over here, I wish they would have put Barry and his dad next to each other, but there's Bobby Bonds right there, John Montefiasco, Willie McCovey, and Tito Fuentes. Jack Clark, Johnny LeMaster, you got Vida Blue, you got Chili Davis, Jeffrey Leonard, Bob Brenly, Mike Krukow. On the top left is Kevin Mitchell. On the bottom left is Rick Russell, Jeff Brantley. Here you go. Top is Will Clark, and then on the right is Kurt Manwaring, John Burkett, and Matt Williams. You got Robbie Thompson right there next to Sean Estes. Then you got Jeff Kent and Rod Beck, Kurt Reeder, Jason Schmidt, Rob Nen, and Marvin Bernard. And a couple of the last ones that were inducted, JT Snow and Rich Aurelia. And then here we go. The newest of them all, Barry Bonds. You just keep walking all the way and you'll arrive in front of the stadium next to the Willie Mays statue. Along the way, walking to the front is where they have the ticket windows at. So if you got to go to will call or anything, this is where you'll pick them up. Or if you want to check the availability on a game for that particular day, this is where you would come and check. And this is all along this, I believe that's King Street, because the address for the ballpark is 24 Willie Mays Plaza at the corner of 3rd and King.
Yes.
We currently are in front of the AT&T ballpark. This ballpark opened on April 11, 2000. This was the first privately funded baseball stadium since the Los Angeles Dodgers built their stadium back in 1962. In 1992, the Giants were actually threatening to leave to Florida until a local businessman named Peter McGowan stepped in along with other guys, and they bought the San Francisco Giants. They financed the park themselves through their own money and their own resources, and they were able to keep the Giants here. So they built this new ballpark, and they brought the Giants over from Candlestick Park. The original name was Pacific Bell Park, also known as Pac Bell Park, from 2000 to 2003, and then SBC Communications bought Pacific Bell and the naming rights in 2004. So from 2004 to 2006, it was known as SBC Park, and then in 2006 to current, AT&T bought out SBC Communications, and then they changed the name to AT&T Ballpark. And the last statue we're going to talk about, but certainly not least, is the Willie Mays statue that resides in front of the stadium. This statue was dedicated to Willie on March 31st, 2000, the same day as the McCovey statue, and the year that it opened. Obviously, since this is right in front, everybody comes and sees it, probably more often than any of the other statues. But also, Willie Mays was a big part of Giants history. He's still known to come to the games along with Willie McCovey. So you could run into him, especially on opening day. I've seen him myself a couple times, but it's still a huge treat when you get to see him here in person. This is the Juan Marichal statue that stands, it's just about outside the team store to your right on your way to McCovey Cove. Also, this is where, if you're taking the stadium tour, you're going to be meeting your tour guide, and this is where the tour gets started at.